Hi everybody, it's Annette from The Art of Intuition, and today we're going to talk about trying and effort, and the difference between trying and the difference between effort. And this is something that you're going to find you're going to dip in and out of when you're faced with something that really triggers you. So a lot of times the higher we go in our consciousness, the higher our vibration gets, you're going to find that less and less things that would really freak out a human and their human consciousness, they don't bother you anymore. You don't really worry about things the way you used to. You know, when you were in your human realities, you used to be concerned about things. You worried about things. And I'm not saying you don't do that in your higher realms, because sometimes it creeps in here and there. But you don't have that overall state of it. You know, when you're in your human consciousness, you're constantly worried. And when I observe the energy of someone really in their human consciousness, or someone, kind of flipping, flopping back between higher consciousness and human consciousness, worry is that underlining energy in everything. You know, no matter how much money a person would have, no matter how much of everything they have, there's still a worry there, a worry of not having it, a worry of something going wrong. It was that old dynamic of, will the tornado hit my house this year, or is it going to hit somebody else's house? Like waiting for something bad to happen and worrying about when that was going to happen. And that's kind of just a theme. It's a theme that kind of is always there in the human consciousness, in those human realities. When you live from those places, that's where you're at. So you're going to find when you start increasing your frequency, you're going to get to certain times and spaces and places where you are going to be pushed to your human limits. You're going to be pushed and pushed and pushed, and you're going to find certain things are going to trigger that worry again. But they might be very extreme. It's not the little stuff anymore. It's the bigger stuff. Recently I sold my car, and I was surprised how much that put me in this trying to find something else energy. Now, I personally never go out and do something before something else is closed out. I'm really conscious on the energetics of that. So I won't go out and look for another car until the other car is gone. I have a few days on a set point to sort of things need to reset. I don't mind spending money on a rental car to make sure I can get into the next timeline and the next reality. And I don't rush into the next thing. Because I've learned over time that when you do that, all you're doing is just recreating the same thing again. You're recreating another karmic timeline. You're not really, because you have this, you're going into it with the fear of not having whatever it is you just let go of. And sometimes that set point can be a month. Sometimes it can be 2 months. Sometimes it can be 3 days. It depends on kind of what you're clearing, how deep the programming is. But I was kind of surprised when I started looking for another vehicle. I was trying to push things. And I was getting exhausted, and I was getting it was clearing out a lot of obsession energy, because my human wanted to get to that next vehicle quickly. It didn't want to wait. It was afraid it wouldn't have one. It had all this stuff going on around the car. Whereas I was kind of surprised at that, which is probably one of the reasons I had to sell the other one. One, to repurpose the money toward other things. And two, it was what was going to trigger all this stuff to come up. So I was really trying to force, and when you're trying, you can feel that when you even say the word, the weighing of that word, you're trying to force something. You might as well put force behind that word. I'm trying to force something. That's why I'm trying so hard to get this thing to go. I'm trying so hard. You're trying to force that. You're trying to force something that's not ready to go. It's not the right time. It's not the right thing. It's not the right vibration. It's not what you're supposed to do. And I was trying so hard to do it that I was sort of losing focus on even what I was trying to do. I was trying to compromise and settle on stuff I didn't like. And you can take this this is just my example. You can take this to any example: relationships, a home, a situation. What are you trying to force? Because when you're trying, you're going to be exhausted doing it. You're almost pushing against the grain. You're trying to, I'm going to use the word trying. You're trying to take a square peg and put it in a round hole. It's not right yet. It's not the time yet. But when you're in it and you're triggering a lot of survival instinct, you're triggering a lot of this stuff to come up. There's a reason for that. mean, you're clearing all that cellular programming. There's a reason you're going through it. There's a reason you feel all that stuff to come up. But when you keep hitting a brick wall and you start getting tired and you're wasting you're wasting. You see the trying and you're wasting. You're doing all this energetic stuff and you're getting nowhere. Now that's true and not true. You are clearing out cellular programming. So there is a part to what you're doing and it is a purpose to it. But you can also see it energetically, like what do I have going on? And I was in that energy for a couple of days and finally I just stepped back and I said, okay, what is flowing? Well, the rental car was super easy. Easy to extend it, easy to get something. It was no issue whatsoever. Completely flawless. There was no trying at all there. So maybe I'm supposed to sit there for a couple weeks. Maybe I'm supposed to sit there for a month. My human doesn't like that. My human wants to say, oh, that's a waste. Look at what your human consciousness is saying. Look at what someone in their human consciousness would say to you. And a lot of times they will say it to you because it is triggering something you feel. People are only going to speak your fears back to you. It's going to trigger something back to you. Now, I do want to contrast that with the word effort, okay? There's a level of effort we have to put forth. But you'll find when you put effort into something that flows, it's effortless. You know, there's no effort really involved. It doesn't wear you out. It doesn't make you tired. You don't feel like you want to bang your head against the wall, because it's not moving the way your human wants it to. It's not going the way you want it to go. It's not coming the way you want it to come. You find you're trying to compromise on what you want because you just want it to be done with. You want to end this part of it. You know, you want this to be finished. You want to go into the next part. You don't want this to continue. When you're in that type of energy, you can just feel the heaviness of it. But if you've never experienced realities unfolding very organically and high saline when it's time. I know when I found this place, I just sold my house and I had like a month to find something else. And I was down to the last minute, literally down to the last minute. And I was reaching out because I had a couple stipulations around what I required at that time. You know, I had a cat, a lot of places. The wrong places didn't want to deal with the cat. And then I wanted to do like a 6-month lease, and that was something else. A lot of people said, oh, you can't put all the stipulations on it. But yeah, I felt like that's what I was supposed to do. So I did, you know. And I reached out to so many people about rentals. And finally, I reached out to one person and they were like, well, you know, we don't have this place you were looking at. We don't want to do that. But this place is not even on the market and you can have this one. And it was perfect. It was everything I wanted. Was there a couple things here and there that I could improve? Yeah. And I did. But it was perfect. And it came so easy, so effortless. Now, I had to put the effort in to look. But when I was trying to fit things that didn't work, it was so obvious. And I started doing the same thing again with the car. I thought the car sale was about freeing up some, you know, funds to invest somewhere else, freeing up some old ties to old energy. It was something I had used when I was years ago in my human realities, commuting a lot, which I didn't do anymore. It was a lot tied into it. And I thought it was just a physical thing. And I realized after, and this is always what's going to happen, after you know what's aligned for you to do it, it has nothing to do with the physical thing. That's all the shit I had around that physical thing. All that fear I had around not having one, not having the right one. You know, it was all of that going on. It wasn't an ease with it. And we also, I was going to do another video. I think I'm just going to plug this here. We're also in the eclipse season, which, you know, all that goes on inside of us. It's not outside of us. The more you expand your field, you're going to find that you are encompassing all that. And you realize that the eclipses have nothing to do with physical things. A lot of people would say, our human always wants that physical marker, because that's what the human wants. It wants that physical marker, that physical thing. It's not about the physical thing. Eclipses are always going to be about the energetics you're clearing about something. It's not the physical thing. And the higher your realities go, the higher you anchor in, the higher physical realities you anchor in, higher consciousness realities you anchor in, you're going to find your clearings are not about the damn physical thing. That has nothing to do with it. It's all going to be about the energetic, the emotion you're clearing, the tie, the cords of attachment you're clearing to it. The physical thing is just what it was used to do. you'll be surprised what physical thing triggers you. I was shocked at how much came up over selling that car and trying to find something else. And there's the word trying again, trying to find something else quickly because I didn't want to have to do this or do that. I wanted it to be this way. I don't want it to come another way. I want it to come this way. So look at what you're trying to force. Feel the heaviness of the word and just connect back inside and really say, is this what I'm supposed to do? And if you can't get an answer, you can ask for a physical sign. Like when I was really in the program, and I only stayed seriously in that, clearing that for a couple of days, and I was so exhausted, I had to get out of it. Once I kind of could get out of it, I could see why none of my physical markers were coming because none of it was aligned. None of it was aligned. I was going into things with so much fear that I wouldn't have one. Like there's a shortage on vehicles. Trust me, for someone there's not a shortage on anything. That's all our mind that kind of says all this stuff. So look what you're trying to do. Look at what you're forcing. Look at what's effortless compared to that. Because that's the way you're supposed to go. You might not have to go that way forever, but that might be the way you have to go now. Why you have to go that way? Could be you're trying to reset. Usually it's going to, in some cases, it's always going to be you're trying to reset your frequency. You're upgrading to a different frequency. You can't bring the next thing in yet. It can be you have to clear out the programming, which is kind of the same thing. The right thing is not there yet. I don't want to say you're waiting for other people, but other people have to step up and might have to do something. Look at what you're trying to do and look at what's working. Focus on what's working, what's effortless. You have to put the effort in, but once you do it, it's effortless. There was no cogs in the wheel at all. Where you're trying to, and look at the other time where you're trying to push this, get this square wheel to roll, and look, really be conscious of what you're doing, because it's not going to be hard. It might not be the way your human likes it. That's what makes it hard. Your human wants it one way. And I can guarantee you in the higher realms, it's not going to be that way. So when you get into that stuff and you're into the clearing, and you'll see probably a lot of that right now during the eclipse, focus on the emotions that are clearing. Don't worry about the physical thing. And keep practicing the art of intuition.